And I truly believe, bro, like not knowing is so much better sometimes.
100%.
Like, big throwback. Obviously, episode 1 that we ever did, I told you my story about my dad, innit?
Yeah.
That was mental, bro. It's the first episode we ever did.
Forsyth.
Yeah. And like, he's dead now.
Yeah, you told me.
He died of COVID. So basically, for those who don't know, my dad grew up, my dad grew up thinking someone was his dad. And then he passed away when my dad was really young.
Yeah.
So then my dad grew up thinking that his dad was dead for his whole life. And then in his 50s, then found out that another man was actually his dad.
Yeah.
And then a year after that, he died. So then I look at it and think, would it have just been better for you to just never find that out?
Yeah.
Because then you have this obviously horrible childhood. My dad's mom also died when he was really young as well. So it's like, he's had to just like, he's obviously had like a gaping hole his whole life.
Yeah.
His whole life he's had to learn to deal with that. And similar to Con Mum.
Bro, I was waiting for you to finish because I was going to say.
Bro, similar to Con Mum.
That's what I was thinking.
Is that broski went his whole life not knowing his mum.
Yeah.
And then he meets his mum and he's on cloud 9. Then he finds out his mum's a con artist and he loses everything. And you're like, it would have just been better if you just thought you didn't have a mum. And sometimes I think about that with my dad. I'm just like, bro, you grew up your whole life with no parents. You struggled, like everything like it was way more difficult. You had this like gaping hole. And then in your 50s, you find out that this man who you can like feel and touch and meet and all this kind of stuff is like your real dad. And then a year later, he's gone. And then you're just like, fucked. It's like, bro.
Do you think your dad's upbringing played a part in your upbringing towards your dad?
Oh, now we're getting deep. My dad's upbringing in terms of him not having parents.
Yeah. And like how he
parents.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, 100%. Because like my dad is like incredibly loving, but so specific to my dad in terms of the way he shows affection and all this kind of stuff. And like, you can just tell my dad doesn't know what it's like to have like a loving parent because he does it. You can see he's doing it and you can see he has the effort for it.
Yeah.
But for one, my dad is very out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
So like I've gone like not 6 months, but I've gone months without speaking to my dad.
Yeah.
And he doesn't realize. And like, it's just, he just cracks on.
Yeah.
But when you see him, he's so like affectionate and talkative and all that. And then I can go, as soon as I'm out of his vision, he'll forget that. Yeah. And he's doing a little bit better at the minute. Surprisingly, he'll text me like now and again, but like my dad's very out of sight, out of mind. And also like, I think I've told you this before. When I was a kid, I told my dad I loved him and I was nervous because he didn't know, my dad doesn't know how to do them thing there.
Yeah.
And I remember he was putting me and my brother to bed when we were really young. And as he was leaving, I was like, love you. And he like stopped and was like, and then like walked out. And I was like, cool.
Oh, yeah.
No drama.
Yeah.
And like, that's like, it's taken me to be an adult to realize like, like this is, you don't know.
Yeah, it's trauma.
Yeah, this is something that's completely absent in your life.
Yeah.
And like, it's even to your kids now, it's difficult. It's difficult.
Fuck, man.
To navigate. It's rough, man.
Yeah, because my dad's dad, I never met my dad's dad. My dad's dad died when my dad was very young as well. And only up until recently, I think during Christmas, when they all came around mine, my dad got to mine first. And he was talking to me about how when he was younger, trying to go to secondary school and stuff in Nige, he wasn't with his mum. He was with his uncle somewhere else. So even throughout a lot of the years, he was absent from his only parent as well.
Same to my dad's mum had to send, he never told me why, but my dad's mum had to send my dad and his brother to Trinidad for years. So even after his dad had died and he just had his mum had to send him to the Caribbean to live with an uncle and auntie as well.
Yeah. So like he never really had, during his teenage years, he never really had that parental love, you know? And he had to fend for himself a lot. And I feel like, again, similar to what you said about the loving thing, I've never told my dad I love him, to my knowledge. I may have when I was a child and I don't remember. and he's never told me he loves me. But we know the love is there. Like, we're human beings. We understand that we love each other as family. But the relationship with my mum tells me she loves me all the time. And I tell her too.
Yeah.
So it's like, again, upbringings are so different. I think both of my mum's parents are dead now, but they died when she was grown. Do you see what I'm saying?
Same with my mum.
Her upbringing was very different to my dad's upbringing. My dad has had to fend for himself for so long, from such a young age. And I feel like when we were talking during Christmas, it brought me closer to my dad, because I now understand, not necessarily understand why my dad the way is my dad, the way my dad is, but I somewhat, pity's not the word, I somewhat empathize with him, or sympathize, not even because I've not gone through that, I've sympathized with him in how he has been whilst we've been born, because I understand how difficult it was for him, because there was no one to show him. There wasn't a father figure or someone parental to show him the ropes on certain things. He's had to figure shit out himself. And it was like, I couldn't fathom that as myself now. Like, if my dad, God forbid, died when I was 7 years old. And that's when my granddad died, when my dad was 7 or 8 or something like that.
I think 7 to I think my dad was really like 5.
He was young, bro, and it's like, fuck.
Yeah.
Granted, you've lived a life and you're like, you don't even remember that now. I will be surprised if my dad remembers what his dad looks like. My dad is 68. His dad died 60 years ago. Damn. So it's like, fuck, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough, man.
Bro, it is tough.
Yeah, so it made me sympathize with him a lot.
Fair.
A lot.